Good morning to you. Since the time is very limited, let me start with what I consider as a good teacher. I think the first question which we must understand, because the whole aim of education is to provide quality education. And the center of all this is what is called a teacher. So long time back, about a couple of years back, I gave a lecture called the Professor H.K. Barwa Memorial Lecture, which I request all of you to go through, where I try to compare a good teacher to what is called stem cells. Today it's a very fashionable area to talk about stem cells, but when I used to work on it 25 years back, it was called unfashionable. But let me just tell you why I am using the stem cell and the teacher concept. If you look in our body, we have 30,000 stem cells to produce blood. Okay, and these 30,000 stem cells produce 10 billion red blood corpuscles, 10 billion platelets, 1 million T cells, 1 million B cells, eosinophils, basophils, etc. So when you look at a stem cell, the beauty of it is that whenever it divides into two, one remains a stem cell and one differentiates into become various other cells. So similarly, if I look at the great people among the teachers, I always rate J.J. Thomson and Rutherford as one of the finest examples of a good teacher. J.J. Thomson, for example, produced 8 Nobel laureates. That is, he himself being a Nobel laureate, he made sure 8 more are produced. Similarly, Rutherford, who was his student, produced 13 Nobel laureates. Whereas we had C.V. Raman, who didn't produce another Nobel laureate. Because our tendency is, I remain famous, others don't become famous. But we have a schools of thought which produce, and I want you to read the H.K. Barwa Memorial Lecture, where for the first time I tried to illustrate what is the relationship between a teacher and a stem cell. So ideally, you have to identifying a stem cell even today is $1 billion question. Nobody has yet identified a stem cell. We take a crude population, we think it is somewhere there, and we hope it does. That's how bone marrow transplantation, etc. happen. So what we need to identify is a good qualities like a stem cell which teacher has. And unfortunately, we have never bothered about that, so that's why all this confusion we are having in the country. Number 2, so the fact that you need a good teacher is the basis of all this. So if you have a good teacher, so I always say ICT technology, for example, even if per lecture, for a very good teacher, if you pay 10 rupees per month, and if there are 1 lakh users of that, he will get a salary of 10 lakhs per month. I don't know why we are not doing it. Because ideally, the best teacher is what is required. I go to MIT site, download a lecture by X, Y, Z, because I am willing to do that effort onto that. So I think first thing, we have to make the teacher the most highly paid profession. I mean, probably a good teacher, if he has 10 lakh students, he'll earn 1 lakh per month, 1 crore per month. So what I'm saying is, our first ICT should make sure, even to listen to the lecture, we pay more for drinking water than for a good teacher. So I think the first issue is that ICT has to identify good teachers and give them on a paid channel. I have no problem. Say pay 50 paisa to listen to 1 hour lecture. If you don't do it, all the rest of the technologies I find has no meaning. So we need to identify a bunch of committed teachers. If you look at Shankaracharya in our time, he set up 5 marks and which again spread, and now it is living for so many years now. So essentially, there should be somebody who is able to do it. So that's the first part I want. In a place like Nagaland, where people are afraid to go due to insurgency, etc., so for us, even getting a teacher, even if I advertise, doesn't help me at all. So about 2 years back, I set up the optical fiber network right from Trivandrum, because Professor Srivatsan, I happened to meet him a couple of years back. He was talking of some ideas. He said, nobody is understanding what I am saying. I said, I have understood, let us implement it. So we laid the optical fiber even before the National Mission on Education started. So Manishankar Iyer came to Trivandrum, and we had an inauguration between Nagaland, Dimapur, and this thing. And the Nagas were never exposed to this, and they were very excited. I recruited all my staff who are only Nagas. I did not bother to recruit in my engineering anybody from outside. And empowered them to develop it. So today they maintain it. Then we were the first to implement the National Program on Technology Enhanced Learning and Teaching. Only thing what we added was a evaluation component. So one of the first things which Professor Srivatsan introduced to us was a Moodle software. So every teacher puts in the lectures, the necessary reference sites to look at, The exercises were given, you have to submit the exercise in so and so time. Mind you, my Naga children had never seen a computer. So for them it was a very big thing. Then once I managed to get an English language person to come and take, then we did what is called, so I strongly believe that, the other day also I meant, a student should be taught listening skills, speaking skills, reading skills and writing skills. Doesn't matter what the subject is. I think these 4 components have to be strongly emphasized. So if they listen to a good lecture, they're understanding, you raise questions on it, what they have understood it. The advantage of ICT I find is every 5 minutes I can stop and replay it back. I can't ask a teacher to replay back. So I think the biggest advantage what you get is an ability to sit and listen. I made even my hostels Wi-Fi enabled. We have a digital library. Children can access all these lectures sitting in their home. Suddenly I found children started buying their own laptops. And in the whole process what I'm trying to say is that, which I never expected as a bonus, but I can tell you that in this remote part, now I'm trying to set up another one into the deeper parts of it. I'm trying to link all my 52 affiliated colleges because we don't have teachers. So when you don't have good teachers, they cut down on what they teach. So the virus which gets into bad quality teaching is something you can't prevent. So my request is that ICT has a big opening, and I feel that all of you are wasting time doing it in Hyderabad, Delhi, Bombay, Madras, because there they think they are too above. We all know this, because we go to America, we go to here. So I don't think this is the place to implement them. Just like we have rural development program, you must go into those areas where people have nothing to talk. I don't have healthcare, so I'm trying to introduce e-health. We are doing e-education, we are trying to introduce e-agriculture, because most of my people are in the agriculture. We have no roads proper, we don't have railway connection, we don't have airports. So people are far flung. So only way I can see as a solution is ICT. So this is a humble beginning I have begun. I don't know where it will take, but I'll just stop over here and allow the committee to talk after everybody has presented. Thank you.